Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Special appearance video. In this video, we're going to talk about Dr. J. Was Dr. J overrated? I think yes, and I think no. I don't think Dr. J was overrated, but I think people are overrating him. And one guy that gets on my nerves the most is that Jim from NBA Self Research, NBA Facts, and this guy talks about Dr. J ad nauseum, how he should be in the top 5, top 10, and just different things like that. And you know, he likes to diss Kareem and all this stuff. It just fools like that. Look, everybody can have their own opinion about these things, but the fact is, when it comes down to it, when we hold these guys' feet to the fire and hold them to the same standard that we're holding Michael Jordan to, Kobe to, Shaq to, you know, Bill Russell, you know, Tim Duncan, all these guys in the top 10 or in the top 5. To me, these people who are Dr. J fans, they don't hold Dr. J's feet to the same fire, folks. They don't. I'm sorry. And we had to go through the same thing with Bill Russell. Bill Russell isn't overrated. People overrated Bill Russell. We did that 4-part series and we tore Bill Russell's career apart. That these fools got Bill Russell in the top 3, number 2, number 1. And I had Bill Russell at number 4. But like I said, after they kept pissing on Will Chamberlain, okay, we had to do a 4-part series on Bill Russell, showing that he wasn't even the best player on his team. There was two-way players on his team, all-around players on his team. He had the most help in NBA history, triple the help of, I think, most superstars, or double the help of most superstars. We already found that out. I'm not going to go through this Bill Russell thing again. Bill Russell is not a top 10 player in my eyes. After I did the investigation, he's not even a top 25 player. Okay, he's not. You don't have those. He's just. I'm not going to go back into that, but we're going to stay at this one right here, and you know, just do what we got to do right here. So of course, we're going to look at Dr. J's career. We're not going to say anything crazy. We're just going to hold his feet to the fire in the standard of these other top great players. So a lot of people, they, you know, I've heard this about, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not greater than, you know, Dr. J. And we're going to see it's a joke. It's a complete joke. So, you know, before we get into that, we know Dr. J played like 5 years over there in the ABA. A lot of great players in the ABA, but let's be for real. The ABA wasn't the NBA. It was, I'm not trying to say it wasn't great competition, but the overall competition was in the NBA. A lot of great guys, you know, they came out of college and they end up going to the ABA because of the money. That's about it. They went to the ABA because of the money. And Dr. J was one of them. And we all know what happened with the merger and all that stuff. We're not here to diss the ABA and say the competition wasn't no good, or, you know, what he did in the ABA, we don't count it or anything like that. That's ridiculous. We're not here to say that. But the better competition overall was in the NBA. It just was. So a lot of people like to say, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wasn't better than Dr. J. So let's just do this real quick before we get into some other things. Because I think Dr. J, he did 5 years in the ABA, and then the merger happened. And then he did the rest of his 11 years in the NBA, folks. So he only played in the ABA 5 seasons. Let's remember that. That would be the equivalent of Michael Jordan in 1989. Just remember that. 5 years for Michael Jordan, that would be 1989. I'm just saying. We're not here to compare him to Michael Jordan. We're just saying, if you want to know the timetable, it would be like 1990, 6 years. The 6th year of his career, Dr. J came into the NBA from the ABA. That would be 6 years for Jordan. That would be 1990. I'm just saying, for, you know. So let's compare these guys. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus Dr. J. So we're going to go with ABA champions, championships, all the same accolades. We're going to go with them and count them as championships because that's what it is. So for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 6 championships. You got Dr. J with 3 championships. And I know it's going to be some controversy with, Magic Johnson. I just want to know. So you're trying to tell me Magic Johnson, because you got fools out here actually rating Magic Johnson over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I got Magic in my top 5, but I'm just saying you got people actually rating Magic Johnson over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, saying if it wasn't for Magic, Kareem would not win those championships. But these same fools will have Bill Russell 2, 3, and in their top 5. Bill Russell played with triple the help that Kareem played with. Bill Russell was a brick artist and a one-way player, a modern-day Dennis Rodman. And I know it hurts because you go, oh, Dennis Rodman was crazy. No, I'm not trying to say Dennis. I'm not. You guys always talk about leadership with Bill Russell. That's fine. That's cool. But I'm talking about skill level, folks. That's what Bill Russell possessed, that type of skill level back then. Rebounding and defense. That's it. That was his highest skill level. He was a brick fest from under the rim. He didn't shoot outside and he was still a brick fest. So we got to stop, folks, when they say that Magic pretty much led Kareem to all these championships. You got to remember, on top of this, Kareem was 10 years into his career when Magic came in. That's what they don't tell the dummies. Also, Kareem gets penalized because he wasn't winning all these championships in the 70s. But who was? It was real parity. It wasn't no super teams back then. It was real parity. We even seen that Wilt was having problems in the 70s, okay? With the SAG teams they had. It was more parity in the 70s than it was in the 60s. It wasn't even close. So with that being said, I'm trying to keep this moving, but people sound like fools out here when they say that Magic was the leader, was this and that, but they failed to tell you that Kareem was 10 years into his career. 10 years. Back then, that's almost retirement age. You know, we know Kareem played a long time, okay, because he kept himself in shape. But for most guys, back then, you're only going to get like, 13, 14 years. So most guys at 10 years, they're out of their prime. And they need stack teams just to start, to keep winning if they do win championships. So I don't know what that really means. But as a player, as we will see, Magic is not better than Kareem. And on top of that, it's never been proven, okay, he went to the championship game without Kareem in what we think still wasn't a strong West. I don't think the West was strong until Michael Jordan's second three-peat. As strong as the East. Since Michael Jordan's his second three-peat since 96, the West has been the strongest conference ever since then. That's ever since 96. From 96 till today, the West has been the strongest conference. It's insane. So let's get back to this. These fools sound insane. And then we had Dr. J. He's got 3 championships. One in the ABA, one in the NBA. Finals MVPs, you got Kareem with 2. For some reason, Dr. J, their hero, didn't get that MVP. Moses Malone got the MVP. How's that possible, folks? They won't talk about how great Moses Malone was once he got into the NBA. I think he only played like 2 or 3 seasons in the ABA, played 1 season, came into the NBA, had an okay year, and then after that, took the fuck off. Took the hell off. And you can say, if you want to go career for career, Moses Malone had a better, as we're going to see, had a better NBA career than Dr. J. Yep. Had a better NBA career than Dr. J. Moses Malone. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. So, but he was, I guess they don't do finals MVP over there in the ABA. They do playoff MVP. So 2 times Dr. J was, so they're tied at 2 for the finals MVP or, playoff MVP, whatever that is. MVPs, Kareem has 6. We can debate that all day. And you guys are going to be tripped out when we get down to like a lot of this stuff. Let me shut up. And you have Dr. J, 1-time MVP in the NBA, but 3-time MVP in the ABA. So 4 MVPs. And the Dr. J fans will tell you all, oh man, he should have won it if he was in the league when when Kareem was in there. He would have been winning them over Kareem. Well, we'll see about that in a minute. We'll see about that in a minute. So I think Kareem, 19-time All-Star, if I'm not mistaken. In what is this? You have Dr. J, 11 in the NBA, in 5 in the ABA. All NBA first team. Kareem 10 times, and you had Dr. J 5 times in the NBA and 4 times in the ABA. Second team, 5 times for Kareem, 2 times for Dr. J in the NBA, and 1 time for Dr. J in the ABA. So that would be, what would that be? 7? No, 6. Oh no, I'm looking at something wrong. So that would be 7. 12. So I think that would be 12 for Dr. J. All NBA sub, but Kareem played longer. It really, this stuff really don't matter to me. And we're going to tell you what really matters. That keeps Dr. J out of the top 10. Wherever you want to put him after that, that's fine. But we're going to prove Dr. J's not a top 10 player. So All-NBA first team, All-NBA defensive first team, you have Kareem 5 times in the NBA. He only played in the NBA. And you have Dr. J no times in the NBA. And 1 time in the ABA, he was first team. Yikes. So second team, All-NBA defensive, Kareem was second. And in the NBA, 0 times, second team for Dr. J. And 0 times, second team in ABA, 0 times. 0 times in the ABA on the second team, 0. So are we talking about Dr. J only made 1 defensive team? And that was in the ABA? Did it make a second team? It made 0 defensive teams in the NBA? Folks, that's hard to believe. Okay. Kareem, 2-time scoring champ. And we have Dr. J, 3-time scoring champion. Great. 4 times blocks leader for Kareem. And we don't have nothing else as far as accolades, statistical accolades for Dr. J. That's it for Dr. J. He didn't win no scoring titles in the NBA, no steals titles, no rebound titles, no nothing in the NBA. And that's it. He led the league 3 times in scoring in the ABA. And you have Kareem, led the league 1 time in rebounds. They both were rookie of the year. I don't know why that ain't on there for Dr. J. Look, guys. So let's look at this real quick. I'm just saying. So Dr. J, when he played in the ABA his first season, 71-72, a monster. His rookie season, 27 points and 15 rebounds. The next season, 72-73, 31 points and 12 rebounds. 73-74, 27 points and 10 rebounds. And this is 75-76, 29 points, 11 rebounds, folks. In each of those years, he averaged about 4 assists. The merger, 76-77, 21 points and 8 rebounds. His first season in the NBA. His next season in the NBA, 77-78, 20 points, 6 rebounds. 78-79, 23 points, 7 rebounds. What's going on, folks? 79-80, he does go up to 26 points and 7 rebounds. 81 season, 24 points, 8 rebounds. 81-82, 24 points, 6 rebounds. Or 6.9 rebounds, 7 rebounds, whatever. 82-83, 21 points, 6.8 rebounds, whatever. And it just keeps going on. 83-84, 22 points, basically 7 rebounds. 84-85, 20 points, 5 rebounds. I don't know if you got the drift, but this man went from basically averaging, I would think, about first, before the merger, he averaged from his rookie year before the merger, in those 5 seasons, 27 points, 31 points, 27 points, 27 points, 29 points. So I'm guessing that average is around 27, 28 points. Those first 5 seasons in the ABA, folks. Remember, 5 seasons ain't long. Ain't long. That would be like Michael Jordan in 90. No, in 89. So his 6th season. No, before that. Hold on now. Michael Jordan won a championship in his 7th season. So I guess that would be like Michael Jordan in 88, something like that. Yeah, so, yeah, my fault. 90 will be Michael Jordan's 6th season, my fault. So again, the merger happened, and now hits his first season, and he's all the way down to 21 points. The second season after the merger in the NBA, 20 points, and then 23 points. What happened to Dr. J, folks? This guy fell off in his prime. And his rebounds did too. He was averaging double-digit rebounds his first 5 seasons in the ABA. This guy literally dropped down to under the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. In the NBA, after the merger, he dropped down to 2.5 rebounds less a game. Under double digits. His first season, as a rookie, he averaged 15 rebounds a game. The second season, he averaged 12 in the ABA. The next season, he averaged, is that 10? 10. The 4th season in the ABA, 10. The 5th season in the ABA, 11. Then he goes to the NBA in his 6th season, 8.5. Second season in NBA, is that 6? 6.5. The 3rd season, 7.2. The 4th season, 7.4. And on. The same thing. 6, 7, 6. How do you fall off that drastically in scoring and rebounds? I've never seen in the middle of his prime, folks. How does that happen? This dude went from a 28 point scorer his first 5 years to low 20s when he got to the NBA, and went from double-digit rebounds to single-digit rebounds. Look, folks, I hate to say it, and like I said it at the beginning of the video, I never miss. The competition in the ABA was good, but it wasn't better than the NBA, folks. It just wasn't. From head to toe, overall, the NBA competition was just better than the ABA. You might have had some great players, which they did. But no, not the overall picture, not the coaches, none of that stuff. Even if you disagree with me, that's fine. But nobody with common sense will tell you that Dr. J is a top 10 player. And this has nothing to do with him playing in the ABA, because a lot of people will say, oh, you don't want to count his ABA career. Well, count it. He only played 5 years in the ABA. Y'all act like he played 10 years in the ABA, then came to the NBA. You can't drop off the map that drastically in stats when you come into the NBA, and that's what he did, folks. On top of that, he wasn't getting to the line. This guy only, if I ain't mistaken, Dr. J, I think he only averaged 8 attempts a game. 6. Hold on. Or he only made 8 free throws a game. It was something like that. Let me look it back up real quick. But yeah, these guys, ain't nobody dumb. I haven't heard no analyst throughout history, when it's a top 10 about to be announced, ever put Dr. J in there. And this is probably why, man. They never wanted to insult Dr. J, but he wasn't that man in the NBA. For whatever reason, he was an all-star. He was, all NBA first team, but he was a great player, but he don't deserve to be in front of Kareem. So let me look at this real quick. So yeah, this is his attempts. When he came into the league, his first year, 6 attempts. Next season, 5. Next season, in 79, 6.9, and then 6.8. Next year, 6.5. Next year, 6.7, 6.6. So he's only getting to the line 6 times, and he's making, I don't know, shooting 74, 78%, 78. It just hover around. You know, he got a career 77% from the line. It's not awful, but it's not great or nothing like that. But his attempts is just not there, man. You only get sent to the line 6 times a game. What is this? So for his NBA career, 5.9, 5.9, and basically in his prime years, it was around 6. I mean, I don't know. That's a waste. If you're supposed to be that superstar primetime player and that, especially a scorer, that score, how come you ain't getting to the line? Especially if you're supposed to be a slasher. What happened? It literally took for Moses Malone to show up and take this dude to the promised land. Now, I'm not trying to say he was working, you know, with a whole bunch of great guys or anything like that, but this is Malone. Moses Malone, a 3-time MVP. 12-time All-Star. I mean, it's Moses Malone. This guy damn near, well, he got 6 rebound titles. This guy damn near, Moses Malone, almost every year almost averaged as many offensive rebounds as he did defensive rebounds. Almost just like every year. I ain't saying it was even, but he almost averaged the same offensive rebounds that he did defensive. This guy was pulling a game like 8, 7, 8, 6, 5 a game per year. That's what he was average per year. Some years it was 5. You know, in his prime, he was averaging like 7, 6 offensive rebounds a damn game a year. And if you want to compare, you know, both of these guys' career in the NBA, I mean, you really can say that, you know, Moses Malone had a better career in the NBA. I mean, Moses Malone was a scoring machine for like 5 years. He was a scoring machine and rebounding machine. I mean, I don't think they ever seen that since Will Chamberlain. A scoring machine and a rebounding machine. Even Kareem wasn't both. Yes, he was a good rebounder. He wasn't great, but he wasn't even on the level of Moses Malone. Nowhere. No way. But these are the glaring details right here, folks. The defensive teams. How many of these fools talk about defense? They love to talk about defense. These Dr. J fans, they like to talk about, you know, because some of them is Kobe fans and Bill Russell fans and, you know, Michael Jordan fans and, all these guys that play defense. It's really, Magic is probably the only one that's in the top 10 who isn't an all-time great defender, but he's the greatest point guard of all time. And maybe, I couldn't put him over Will, the greatest all-around player, but he's up in the top 5. Magic Johnson is all-around player. But Larry Bird made 3 All-NBA defensive second teams. Not scattered out. Back to back to back. 3 in a row, folks. Larry Bird. So Larry Bird made more defensive teams than Dr. J. Where we at, folks? Where we at? And Larry Bird might have made more, but, look at the stiff competition in the 80s. You're telling me Dr. J, he was so great in the ABA, and he should be a top 10 player of all time, but he never made a defensive team but one time in the ABA? You can give me some weird excuse about the NBA and whatever like that, but he only made one defensive team in the ABA? How's that possible? So let me get this right. Dr. J is not a two-way player, and he's not an all-around player. And for some reason, you want me to believe that Dr. J was that great in the ABA. And the ABA was that great. But from Dr. J's first season until he retired, he was never the same guy in the NBA that he was in the ABA. Now, we're not trying to say he was trash or he wasn't, an all NBA player, nothing like that. But he was not the same guy in the NBA as he was in the ABA, folks. That's just the truth of it. Don't give me any excuse about, well, what happened was, no, bro. It was dudes in the 80s, in his era, putting up more points than he was putting up when he was in the NBA. In his first year, second year, third year, fourth year, it was dudes doing it. What's the excuse? The dude literally fell off the damn cliff when he came to the NBA. Fell off the cliff when he came into the NBA in comparison to how good he was in the ABA. So like I said, this was year 6 for him. Year 6. He already won MVPs. I think he won, 3? And he won 3 MVPs and 3 championships. In his first 5 years in the ABA. 3 championships, 3 scoring titles. And 3 MVPs? So what happened to the rest of his career when he got to the NBA? So we can get past the championships. I'm not worried about that. So we can say, well, it's a team game, right? It wasn't like that for Bill Russell, though. Bill Russell won all those championships by himself, shooting the brick fest, and basically having skills like Dennis Rodman. You expect me to believe something that stupid? No. It's stupidity, folks. So I'm not even talking about Dr. J's championships and him winning more championships. I'm talking about this dude literally falling off the cliff of the same person he used to be in the ABA. And I'm not talking about 3-4 years into the NBA. I'm talking about the same next season, his first season in the NBA, this guy fell off the cliff. This is why no analyst in a right mind ever tells you Dr. J is a top 10 player. Because Dr. J was nowhere to be found in the NBA like he was playing in the ABA. And to me, can we go in the top 10 and we see any guys in there with, well, LeBron has 4 championships. He's out though. Larry Bird only has 3. But Larry Bird didn't fall off the cliff. There's 6 years. No. I'm just saying, man. And I hear people that's even funnier. They're trying to put Dr. J in the top 5. Wow. I like them to explain this right here. And it's cool, man. I'm not I don't work for NASA. I'm not the smartest person in the world or nothing like that. And I would like to be educated on this. But you can't fall off the cliff in comparison to how good you were. In comparison, we can compare any all-time great player. Okay, let's just say Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan. Boom. Michael Jordan was playing in another league, and we saw his talents his first 5 seasons. 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. So he comes into the NBA in 1990 and just falls the hell off the cliff. Hell, Michael Jordan won a championship then, because he didn't win a championship until 91. I'm just saying. Is it just any coincidence? He's a one-way player, just like Bill Russell was. Bill Russell was a defensive player, and Dr. J was just a one-way offensive player. But like I said, most of the guys in the top 10, they're either all-around players or they're two-way players. Somewhere Bill Russell shouldn't even be in that top 10. And we can see why Dr. J is not in that top 10. This was not the same Dr. J that was in the ABA, folks. So, and we don't even talk about the MVPs or nothing like that. Yes, he won an MVP in the NBA. But we're talking about, where was Dr. J? He should have been able to at least put up 27 points a game, or continue to, coming into the NBA. And he wasn't a defensive player, and he wasn't getting the rebounds. He went from grabbing crazy rebounds his first 5 years to he went from being probably the greatest rebounder as a forward in the ABA to being what? A solid, a good rebounder in the NBA. That's it. That's it. It's funny how I got to come up and tell these stories about, Dr. J and stuff like that, because these fools like Jim and Self Research, NBA Facts, whatever the hell that thing is over there, he won't tell nothing like that. Or the Dr. J fans, and I'm not trying to hate. I'm telling you the story. I'm telling you what happened, and it's no hate. If you want to put Dr. J in the top 5, in the top 10, go ahead. But he's not being held to the same standard as the other guys in the top 10. Larry Bird was an all-around player. Points, rebounds, assists. He was an all-around player. Magic Johnson was. Michael Jordan was a two-way player. Wilt Chamberlain, two-way player. And basically, you could say an all-around player on top of that. Kareem, two-way player. To me, one of the greatest two-way players of all time. You see it right there. Defensive team 11 times. What else do you want? Led the league in blocks at least 3 times before they even counted blocks, and still led the league in blocks 4 times. We already know about the points. One of the greatest scorers of all time. One of the greatest centers of all time. You just, when you put Kareem's resume up against any other center, you're gonna get laughed at. You're gonna get laughed at. He did everything. Led the league in rebounds, scoring, blocks. What else do you want? You just don't like to do it. I mean, he put up monster numbers, and we put the numbers up beside each other. I think it was one day, and he wasn't able to match Kareem. Kareem was putting up monster numbers his first 5 seasons, so we were putting up better numbers than Dr. J, who was putting up monster numbers too his first 5 seasons, but it still didn't match up to Kareem's. Kareem's was still putting up better monster numbers than Dr. J, and he was playing defense. Dr. J wasn't doing that. I ain't gonna say he wasn't playing no defense, but Kareem was making the defensive teams to prove he was the best center at his position, or if he was making the second, to prove he was the second best center at his position defensively. When you only make one defensive team your entire career, Dr. J, guess what? One is proving you wasn't the first or the second, because you didn't make the second team, and how we know you're the third or fourth best forward at your position. We already know you're not 1 or 2 defensively, but we don't even know if you were 3rd or 4th. Who knows? So I'm just saying, Dr. J fans ain't gonna tell you this, folks. They're not gonna tell you these things. Now, like I said, I don't know what happened to the man when he came into the NBA. All we know is that he was one of the greatest players we ever seen his first 5 seasons. He was out there with the Jerry West, the Wills, and these guys that came before him. He was up there. He came in 71. 71, folks. 71. Well, he didn't come into the NBA. He went over there to the ABA. But it was some great players playing in the NBA before he came aboard in the 60s and in the NBA in the 70s. But he chose not to come to the NBA because he wanted the money. And a lot of these other guys wanted the money. And that was it. More power to him. I'm not trying to stop him for whatever. And, but I'm not buying he should be in the top 10 because he saved the league. When did he save the league? Because when he came into the league, he wasn't putting up the numbers to save the league. He wasn't doing the same thing that he did in the ABA as when he came into the NBA. He wasn't doing the same thing. He's actually getting whooped up and down the court every year, just like everybody else was in the 70s, and then in the early 80s, because it was so much parity and stuff like that. I wouldn't say it was when Magic and Bird came in. Then they really took over. But in the 70s, when he came in through the merger, it was still a lot of parity. But again, you just got to wonder how suspect his ABA career is when he couldn't continue that same greatness into the NBA. What a dominance. We ain't saying he wasn't great in the NBA. That would be dumb to say. I'm talking about the dominance that he showed in the ABA. He didn't show the same dominance when he walked into the NBA. Never. There was no dominance. There was no dominance. We can see by the stats. It wasn't no dominance. It ain't got nothing to do with, accolades and all that shit. And his stats showed off, folks. He wasn't the same player in the NBA. And like I said, it just makes you wonder, how good was the ABA? How good was it really? And I think that, a lot of people, that's why a lot of analysts, I haven't heard nobody ever, no analyst, no basketball historian ever say that Dr. J should be in the top 10. And how is he, how does he not get the respect when he wasn't the same person when he came into the NBA? This ain't like, oh, he came in after 10 years. No, he came in his 6th year. I don't know. He should have still been in his 20s, right? In his what, late 20s? I'm just saying. It ain't got nothing to do with, Moses Malone helping him. It ain't got nothing to do with him winning, championships or MVPs, nothing like that. He just was not the same person as he was in the ABA. And we ain't gonna discount his stats or accolades, but you just gotta wonder. It don't matter. I know who was in the Iceman Gervin was over there, and Rick Barry, all these dudes over there in the ABA, fine. But I'm just saying, it makes you wonder. And Iceman Gervin didn't win no championships. And he was winning scoring titles in the NBA. What happened to Dr. J? I'm just saying, it just makes you wonder, was it competition? I ain't trying to say the competition wasn't good. I'm just saying, was it competition? It just wasn't as good as NBA level. You can just say that. And then when you say that, you got to come to the conclusion that, we're overrating Dr. J. And when you say that, you got to think that these guys were just maybe running roughshod over there, wasn't playing too much defense over there. He wasn't playing defense. So you weren't even making no defensive teams in the ABA. So you got to think, were they just running roughshod? And he wasn't getting no defense played on him, and they weren't playing no defense over there, and it was just like easy to score. And I don't know. He wasn't a good jump shooter. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't good. He was never good. And like I said, another thing we looked at, how was you only having 6 attempts a game in the NBA at the free throw line? You're supposed to be a scorer. How that ain't even. You seen guys who ain't even scores get to the line 6 times. 6 times? You average 6 attempts. That's just insane, man. So you can see why his points dropped a lot, really. Because he ain't get to the line. I don't know if he was scared to get to the line. I don't know what happened. I went watching the NBA back in the 70s and stuff like that. But that was basically his attempts, 5.9, 6, whatever like that. And he wasn't even hitting 80% of them. So I don't know if he was just scared to go to the line once he got to the NBA. I don't know. But a lot of people want to put him on a mantle and put him in the top 5 and top 10 based on what he did in the ABA. No. No. Nope. Now, if he would have came from the ABA and say, "Oh yeah, that was a tough league. We're gonna show you how tough it is, how tough it was in the ABA. This is what I'm gonna do in the NBA. I'm gonna be winning like all these MVPs, at least win 2 championships, winning more scoring titles, keeping my point average up to 27, 28, 29 points per game, at least for the next." That was in his 6th year coming in here. So at least the next 3 years, I'm gonna still average 10 rebounds or more a game like I was in the ABA. So who was you rebounding against in the ABA where you was getting 10, 15, 13 rebounds per game in that 5-year span? Who was you rebounding against? Because when you came to the NBA, you weren't getting them rebounds no more. Not even close. Not even close. So your points weren't the same, not even close. Your rebounds weren't even the same, not even close. I don't know what his attempts was at the free throw line. I'm sure they were more than 6 in the ABA. So they're probably not even close what they was in the NBA. What is it? Why do you want this guy top 10? Why do you want him top 10? We got to hold these guys to the same standard as everybody else. A full career. A full career. That's it. So I don't know. I guess his best years, if we, yes, we're counting the ABA, but I guess his best years was his first 5 years. And then he burned out before he came to the NBA. I'm not trying to say he totally burned out. I'm just saying he just wasn't the same player. The competition was just different, man. Either he burned out before he came into the NBA, or the competition was just better. You can't have it both ways, man. So which one is it? I don't know. I guess I would have. I would rather say I burned out, because if I say the competition better than the NBA, it kind of like, you know, Nolan. It just erases what happened in the ABA. It makes the ABA look weak, and it don't make Dr. J look that good. Either way, he burned out after 5 years. As far as being the same player, I mean, he could have did something more. I mean, the man was doing a lot. Yes, he was scoring a lot, grabbing a lot of rebounds and stuff. Like, he wasn't playing no damn defense, but he could have kept one of those stats at a high level. Okay, he could have gave up the the rebounding at the high level he was doing in the ABA and just kept the scoring up once he came into the NBA, or drop the scoring and keep the rebounding up, and then make defensive teams in the NBA. I mean, what? You didn't. You didn't do nothing. Your scoring fell off the map compared to what it used to be. Your rebounding fell off the map compared to what it used to be, and you didn't play defense. All these things happened when you went to the NBA. I'm just done. So, no disrespect, I'm trying to tell you guys a story, but when they try to put Dr. J as a top 10 player, a top 5 player, and then try to piss on him, Kareem, for being one of the greatest two-way players of all time. And that's why I got Kareem at number 3. We're going to stay at number 3. One of the greatest two-way players of all time. And, to me, Dr. J ain't even in Kareem's wheelhouse. Ain't even in his wheelhouse. A one-way player that was a great scorer over there in the ABA, didn't show it in the NBA that he was a great scorer. That's all he was a great scorer in the ABA. That's it, folks. That's all I see on the resume. That's all I see year by year. He was a good scorer in the NBA. He wasn't a great scorer in the NBA. He just wasn't. At no time. No time was he a good or great defensive player. A great defensive player is going to be on the defensive first team all the time. A good defensive player is going to be on the second defensive team. So if you're not even on the second as a good defensive player, then that just means you're suspect. I don't care who was on that defensive team to beat you out. It is what it is, folks. You got LeBron James, one of the laziest dudes in the world, done made 6 defensive teams. Not to mention, it's crazy, dog. Not to mention all the forwards at Dr. J's position that made all these defensive teams. And Dr. J only made, come on, man, you can make defensive second team. Larry Bird made it 3 years in a row and made it 3 times. You can't even get on the second team? Can't get on the second team in the NBA? Can't lead the league in scoring in the NBA? Can't grab double-digit rebounds? Can't even score 25 points per game in the NBA? Whatever you guys want to call it, man. Dr. J, all-time great player. But when you say top 10, those guys did it for a long time, folks. They did it for a long time. They were great for a long time. They did it for a long 10 years or more. They were great for that long. Those guys in the top 10. We already know who's in the top 10. Those guys did it for a long time. They didn't have that stretch where they were great for 5 years. No, they were great for about 10 years, and then they could start tapering off. Dr. J was only great for 5 years, and then he was just good after that. That's my opinion. When I look at the stats, when I look at the accolades, when I look at everything, that's what it tells me. I mean, you can form your opinion based on something else. That's fine, but you're just making up stuff. If Dr. J was in the league, he would have took those MVPs from Kareem. A whole bunch of what ifs. One minute y'all say LeBron James is a what if. So you're trying to tell me a one-way player who ain't even an all-around player was going to come into the league, a one-way player, and take those MVPs away from a two-way player, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's what you're telling me? But yet, after 6 years, he couldn't come into the NBA and duplicate anything he did in the ABA. Mic drop.